Finally. Hey guys, I'm just sorry I'm late. 2 minutes late. I was messing with my camera, but I just want to welcome everyone here to Spiritual Magic Journey, and I'm just gonna let some people come on here. Okay, I have written something in the chat. First thing we're going to do here is do the weekly oracle card reading. And then after that, if you would like a card pulled for you, an overview, an oracle card, or if you have a specific question, I'll use the tarot. I've got the pendulum here. So we're just going to have some fun tonight. We're going to tell ghost stories. If you have any ghost stories and you're watching me on YouTube, I want you to go over to Facebook at Spiritual Magic Journey. And I think I can bring you on camera because I would love to bring I'm not sure that I can, or you can if you see me looking this way over here, that's because my computer is over here, my laptop is over here, my camera's in front of me. I got this small desk that's driving me crazy. It's full of crystals, cards, just everything. So yeah, it's very, I'm afraid it's going to tip over, but I've definitely got to get me a new desk. So if you're out there in the watch Facebook, I am live, say hi, start writing your questions in, or your stories that you don't mind me repeating out loud. I do have one to read out of the Appalachian Ghost Stories, which is the area I live in. I don't have any that I can think of, but I hope the volume, so just let me know. It's not, if you can hear me, I just want to make sure I'm going live. Yes. And I have, give me 1 second, because I have tried to post this one time on my, and it just won't post. Give me 1 second. It's too long. I'm going to have to post it in bits and pieces. Give me 1 play. I just want to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Sherry from Spiritual Magic Journey .com. I am I read tarot and oracle. Are you ready to dive right on in? Let's see what the oracle cards want to say for this week. And I'm turn the camera down to my altar. Don't pay attention to all the mess on here. So we are using the Sacred Traveler Oracle deck, and I will be drawing the 3 cards as usual. And, what messages and energies want to come through for this week before we dive into our spooky fun. And again, guys, I could not move my little stuff out of the way, could not find a Halloween costume, so I just had my wearing my I'm a Good Witch most of the time t-shirt on. So let's shuffle these cards. And these are very big oracle cards. Do our bell for cleansing and asking Spirit to step in to guide me. These are humongous cards, so you may see me having a little bit of a difficult time shuffling them. I will be toggling back and forth between Facebook and YouTube, so if you want to go ahead and type some information, this will be card number 1. You have any ghost stories? Card number 2. That would be card number 3. Okay, I'm going to grab the order because we know that this Sacred Rebel Oracle is very long-winded. So I'm going to grab some water while you sit back, relax, let your intuition guide you. You choose a card or just listen to all 3 messages. I'm sure something will definitely resonate with you. So let's see what we've got for card number 1. Awesome, we've got receiving. We're going to see what the book has to say about this card, and if there's any channel messages to come through, I will definitely relay those to you. This is 27. You are so loved. I love that. All right. I've got to switch this out because I like my seeing light where I can hold a card up. I'm going to move you over, crystal ball, just for a second. So loved, need is witnessed and responded to by the universe. However, sometimes you forget this. Swept up in the momentum of habitual consciousness, and you forget to take them. In that moment, you receive the love of the universe that is receiving you. It will nourish you with energy. You have not done this enough, so your soul is becoming parched. Energy has been going out of you, but there is not enough coming back in. It's time to bring something back in for you. To receive and be. You are being offered a chance for restoration. The healing process, which it has one, will help you surrender any guilt or shame. It will also help you overcome the struggles and accepting so that your needs can be met. First is fully received by you. In this space, there is a joyful communion and magic happens. When you demur, saying cannot accept, that is that flow. You are inhibiting the communion, the connection, the playful interaction between you and the universe. Enough with the false modesty and the guilt. You are a radiant sun in the human clothing. An exquisite life experience is your birthright. Soak it up, all of it, including the restoration of the sacred rest. From a place of nourishment, you will more effortlessly create, live, and love with greater energy and thriving, pulsing passion. The earth rests each night so it can greet the sun again each morning with the spectacular living the phone and just be with yourself for a little while. You will return and be more efficient and effective. Rest now, play now, later for something else. Let it all go and it will all flow. So stop that unless the process is your worry, your troubles. It's releasing the needs, releasing the needs. It's releasing just anything that has been burdening, giving you a burden or feeling a weight on your shoulder or your back. And the universe is saying it's time for you to start receiving the love that you are, that you deserve. And you could be nothing else but that love. Are you ready to release that? And there's so many different ways to just surrender and release. And you can call on Archangel Michael. You can call on any of the angelic realm, your guides, the universe, source, God, whoever it is that you pray or you speak to, your angels. You have a whole team that's there with you and guiding you. So, and they're asking, are you ready to release it? Are you ready to release it all and start receiving the love and the abundance and everything that comes with it? Do you feel like you're like worn out, tired, maybe feeling like you just cannot go anymore? So it's time to take some time for yourself, turn off the cell phone, get off the computer. Not right now. We're going to have some fun later. But, take some time out for yourself. Do something that makes you feel good about you. And handle your troubles and worries over to spirit. So take some time out for yourself, whether that's relaxing, curling up with a good book, a good movie, going to get a massage, whatever that is, taking a healing bath, soak, with Epsom salt and other herbs. The choice is yours, but Spirit is asking you to do this. And you know whether you need this or not. So, and I have a feeling that if you not, and I have a feeling that if you did draw this card, you probably do need to take some time out and release that worry and guilt and the burden that you may be carrying. So we're going to move on to card number 2. And this is release the dark womb, let love in again. Wow. So I'm getting the trend here. And that is 25. So we'll see what the book has to say about 25. If there's any messages that want to come through, I will relay those to you. And that is 25. Didn't I say? Yes. It says, release the dark womb, let love in. Let love live. If we detach something from its source too soon, trying to force it to become what it is not yet ready or willing to become, we can unintentionally sap it of its strength and kill it. There is a dark womb in the consciousness of humanity which demands perfection and denies process. Thinking of publishers before you have even written the book. If you are comparing your unfinished song ideal to the latest best-selling pop release, if you and ask for divine help, then the dark womb has you in its gasp. You have to let go of the death grip of perfectionism and let yourself and ideals live. Love is abundant, creative, inspiring. It moves us more joyously and creatively than fear. You are being asked to honor the path of your own love. What inspires you? What feels exciting, joyful, and perhaps even rather difficult? Let it live. Release the dark wounding of false belief. There are countless stories of vast successful artists who never bind the project that was the making of their career because of the despair fostered by their own dark nature. And we all have those thoughts. They doubt, they were uncertain. Was their work any good? Was it useless? They struggled to believe in the right of a work to come to life, whether it's or rejected by others or not. They nearly lost their work to fear. Undoubtedly, there have been many times when this has actually happened and the work was not saved, not allowed to live. Do not let this happen to you. Whether something is meant to be commercially oriented venture or a more personal creation for your own therapeutic healing, it must be allowed to be without judgment, without criticism, even without premature evaluation. It must be allowed to be what it is, and only time, love, patience, and attention will reveal it. It says, if you have drawn this card along with the Oracle Fin of the End, well, we haven't did that, so I won't read that. But I get where this is going. It's and I feel like it's like speaking to me because we all have those that creeping mind that likes to come in when you're working on a project or you're trying to create or manifest something, or you're working towards a goal, or writing a book like it said, or producing music, or whatever it is that you're doing, and the mind will come in and it goes ahead. You won't find anybody that wants this. Nobody won't like this. Do you even know what you're doing? This I call them self-sabotage thoughts that sometimes make you halt what you're doing or stop what you're doing, and you start second guessing yourself. And I can relate to this card. I feel like it's speaking to me because I just going through a process like this of just not letting it be, trusting yourself, just believing in who you are, that you are powerful and that you are this multidimensional being, um, and what you're creating, other people want to hear that. Share your gifts with the world, with everyone around you, and just listening to those thoughts, sometimes you just have to let them pass by and acknowledge them, be aware of them, be aware when that thinking comes in, and just let it go, and just keep going with the flow and keep doing what you're doing. And especially when you hit those high notes or those high mountain times, and then sometimes you just feel like you just fall off the mountain, and you're back on the flatlands, and nothing's going, and the mind keeps creeping in. You just have to let that go, like I said, and just keep on going, keep going forward, keep moving with the flow. Just be aware of what you're thinking, of that, and don't stay attached to that. Keep going, because we want that energy flowing. We want it to keep flowing through. We don't want it to stay stagnant. We always want the energy to flow, and we always want that, everything going and flowing. So if you're started on something and you're having these thoughts, and we've all had these thoughts, and we're not good enough, we're not unworthy, we're not worthy enough, or no one's gonna like this, or what am I even doing this? You just let those pass by. Know that you are worthy. You're loved. The universe has your back. Spirit has your back always, and keep going forth. Awesome message there. I love it. So let's see what. So it's bring it into form. I like this. So we're going to see what the book says and if there's any more message to come through. And that is 41. Am I reading that correctly upside down? I love that, bringing it into form. It's like you've been thinking about it. It's time to create it, manifest it. So let's see what the book has to say. It says, beautiful dreamer, you can imagine wonderful worlds of light. You can dream up so many possibilities. Now it's time to bring those possibilities of light into the world. They need to be more than ideals. They need to live, to manifest. The world needs not only your dreams, beautiful as they are, but your creations. Get thee to thy desk. I love that. Get thee to thy desk, thy easel, thy computer. Work, beautiful dreamer. Don't just dream, create. You're being asked to honor yourself with a commitment to complete your inspired task. This will help you grow, and that is a wonderful reason to commit. But there is another reason too. You know that your inspired ideals are worth translating into the practical forms so that other people can access them and experience something special too. You have been thinking about writing a book, painting a picture, or acting on an inspiration or ideal. This oracle is bringing you to unequivocal yes, do it. So this is your validation, guys. Do it now. Don't delay and don't dally and dither about the details or worry about how it's all going to work out. The universe loves a bold spirit. Once you take the first step, it will rush towards you like an enthusiastic lover, opening doors, handing gently, guiding at your lower board. You will be promptly provided with all steps. There is a sacrifice inherent in translating the perfection of the perfection of, turn the page, an ideal into a limited physical form, although something may be lost when turning a multidimensional concept of endless potential into something concrete. This oracle guides you to release that there is so much more to be gained. You must become free of the inspiration. Become free of this inspiration so that you can receive your next inspiration. If you're already waiting, it is already waiting for you, so you must go. So it says this oracle also confirms that the information you need to translate your ideals into form will be provided according to a higher wisdom of life. It may not happen by the traditional routes, even if it seems unimaginable. When it's time for something to be born into form, nothing can stop it. It will happen. So that is so true, and you've heard me talk about that so many times. It will happen. So that is so true, and you've heard me talk about that so many times. It's just working towards your what brings you joy, what lights your fire. It's like you've got all these ideals in your head, and it's time to start putting them down. It's like, or you'll be sitting here 5 years from now, or next year, or 2 years from now, thinking about the same things, but never putting them down and never starting on them, or starting on something and then stopping on it and not finishing it up. So this is a validation from spirit telling you to get busy, get thy easel, get thy book, thy pen, whatever it is that you must get to start creating it, at least putting it down on paper to start, even if it just takes baby steps. So if you have started on something, or you've got this ideal that you want to share with the world, or something you want to create, write. And I know I've wanted to write a book, and I've been saying that for years. Again, I feel like it's speaking to me. I'm going to start. I am sure I'm going to start in 2022 of writing that book. So whatever it is that you'll create, Spirit is asking you to go ahead and start that. Take baby steps if needed. Don't worry about how, the what, the why, all the questions that the monkey mind likes to come up with. Just go with it. Your spirit has your back, and you will start seeing things, doors opening up. Everything that you need will be right there, just like it, as if it magically appeared for you. So spirit just wants you to start, on this project, or this ideal that you have. So awesome, guys. Let me get this up. Awesome reading. How did you guys like that? So before, if you see me looking that way, computer is located over there. So my camera's here. I'm at a very small desk. So how are you guys doing on this Halloween night? I have stories to tell, because I'm ready to hear some stories. I need to get some water. I think I seen something on the Facebook page. Let me turn over here. Holly, Janelle, may I have a reading? Okay, let me go back up to Perry. I'm going down. So if you want a reading, do you want an oracle card, or if you have a specific question, I will pull some tarot cards. Or if it's a yes or no, I'll do the pendulum. So I went Friday to try to find a costume. I said, I'm going to get something maybe on the head. Just something. I don't need to be dressed full up. Could I find anything? No, I could not find nothing. I went to Walmart's. It was all sold out. There was nothing there. And usually you don't see shelves, sold out, empty. But there was no Halloween, nothing. I was like, well, I waited too late. Sorry, I'm putting on some something for my lips. Alrighty. Are we ready? Happy Halloween. Happy Soul. Celebrating. Happy Halloween to everyone. Again, let's see. Perry says, let's see if I can look at it on my phone and I won't have to turn my head that way. I'll have to have my glasses too. Sorry, guys. Perry says, been getting lots of signs from spirit repeating numbers, especially 555, 111, and 444. I know what they mean, but my question is if there is a great positive change in your future, and I'm sure that there is with all those numbers. I get those numbers all the time, daily. Let's see. What am I drawn to for you? Perry needs a message. And I've got oracle cards and tarot cards all over the place. So, what's the cards at? Yes. The question is there a great positive change in my future? So let's shuffle some cards here and see what we get. You know what? Let's use the Sacred Traveler. Spirit says use the Sacred Traveler. So I've got the Sacred Traveler Oracle deck. And I'll pull a card. I've got the Angel Tarot cards that we could do. Let's see what comes up. But yeah, I get those numbers all the time. And when you say you know what they mean, did you go look them up, or are you paying attention to what you're thinking? Because they're going to come a time where they're just going to keep coming and keep coming. So after you've read everything, what 555 means, change, nines, eights, I want you to start, Spirit is saying, I want you to start paying attention. This is what it's telling me. I want you to start paying attention exactly what you're doing and what you're thinking. As soon as you see it, and write it down and keep a communication to you. Sometimes it does mean what we look up of what 555 and 333 mean, but when they keep coming and coming and coming, that spirit is trying to tell you something specific. So I definitely want you to do that. So the card I pulled, beautiful card. Look at that, Perry. Miracles. Expect the wondrous to emerge. So I would say that is a big fat yes about this positive change that you're seeking, that it is coming. But the question is, do you believe in miracles? Um, do you believe that spirit can address your concerns and needs and bring you the change that you are seeking? Because this is the card I drew, and it is just a fabulous, beautiful card. So expect the miracles. There is a change coming, but I don't like to give time frames. I'm going to say next year. I'm not going to narrow it down, because what Spirit says soon can be a year or 2 years, but I don't know exactly what type of change you are expecting. But again, with this card here, what I drew from the Sacred Traveler, I definitely want you to numbers, these are repeating numbers, and this goes for anyone that's out there that's seeing these numbers continuously. After you've looked them up and we all know what they mean, Spirit is trying to connect to you on a deeper level. And so pay attention to what you're saying, speaking at that time, thinking at that time, and doing at that time. Okay? So the next person is, let's see if there's anybody on here. No. Okay. Holly, may I have a reading? Do you want a general reading, Holly? Is there something particular uh, that you just want me to pull a card for you? We'll pull a card. Let's pull one from Doreen Virtue. So I feel like there is something that you need to hear. So we're going to shuffle Doreen Virtue's cards. They're the angel therapy cards, I think. Let's see what comes up. What does Holly need to hear? There is a message for Holly. Oops. Holly, you've got workshop and seminars know if you're any kind of teacher, it says attend and giving speeches is part of your spiritual path, purpose, and be opening to teaching and learning. So, do you have any type of gifts, something you want to go into with like healing modalities, reading cards, going to these spiritual retreats and workshops? So you let me know in the comments if this is even resonating with you. So this is the card I'm getting. Giving speeches. So there's something that Spirit's saying that you have to share with the world. So I don't know if you are a healer, you like working with crystals, if you like working with the cards or something to that nature. If you've been to any spiritual retreats or you've been to any seminars, or you want to get into something like that you're feeling drawn to. Maybe it's something that's an inner calling that you're feeling drawn to getting to something that is metaphysical or spiritual for you, because there's something that you can do to help others, is what I'm getting. So I don't know if you're a natural healer or you have any work with anything like that. You can let me know in the comments if this is resonating with you, but this is the card I've got. So there may be some, because we're here at the end of the year now, where there may be some spiritual retreats or workshops that may come across your vision or your peripheral, or you may see something on Facebook that's near your location. This is something you should attend to or go to if there's something that comes up that you see. So I don't know if you go to these types of, or have ever been to one, or wanting to get into the metaphysical or spiritual, whatever you want to call it, aspect of healing or helping other people. Or there's so many different things out there now that it just blows my mind when I work with people and they say that they work with um, animals and children. You know, it just, there's so many types of spiritual paths and healing modalities that people do, and it blows my mind. I didn't know there were that many things out there. So I don't know if that's something you're thinking about doing or wanting to get into. So I hope that resonates with you. So just let me know. But if anything does come up around you, maybe something you want to attend because something is there for you that may pique your interest or uh, help and guide you. I don't know who Brad Wolf is. Kathleen, good evening. Can anyone get a reading? Yes, Kathleen. Would you like one? Do you have a specific question? Do you have like a specific question that you would like? If you do type it in. And I will pull a card for you. So let's see. Kathleen. I'm going to go with the Sacred Traveler Oracle deck for you. Okay? And then we're going to get into a ghost story, like one of my favorites. So Kathleen, what does Kathleen need to hear at this moment? Or know at this moment, Spirit? It's the Earth Bell. What does Kathleen need to know or hear? Ooh, you got a good one. Uncovering treasure. Beneath the surface lies a great bounty. Get back over here so I can see. So I feel like there's this new abundance, not only in the material, uh, but I feel like it's a spiritual, uh, mental, physical abundance that you're coming into. I also feel like, have you lost anything? Because I feel like Spirit is saying that you will find something that you've lost or misplaced. But I do feel like there's some money, some type of abundance that's coming. I'm not sure when. They're not giving me a specific time date. But I feel like you're coming into a period of mental, physical, emotional abundance, a happy, joyous time. A time, a period where you're going to be happy and at peace and not having any doubts or worries. So I feel like you're going into that type of energy here in November. We're fixing to go in November, so going in November. So you can let me know, Kathleen, if that resonates with you, and if we don't have any more questions, I've got a ghost story to read, and I don't see any more. And I live, if you ever heard of the Appalachians, which runs what, North Carolina to like West Virginia or something to that nature. This is a particularly well, down in Kentucky too. This is a story that I always like to read, and this is a pretty old book. It's called The Appalachian Ghost. And it's a pretty old book, and this ghost story is named Laura. And this is out of Highway. Some of you may know this if you're living at a Campbellville, Kentucky. So this is a story about a lady that is, and we've heard these so many times because I think they're all over the place about by the side of the road, and you just want to go pick her. Disappears in your vehicle. So let's read this story before I give it. It says the afternoon was gray and misty, not the kind that Larry Huff. Let me turn that off. On a scary Halloween music. It's called Laura. It says the afternoon was gray and misty, not the kind that Larry Huff would usually choose for a motorcycle ride. But he had just traded his old motorcycle for a new Honda, bought himself a new jacket, and the temptation to take off was irresistible. He sped down Highway 55 out of the Campbellville, Kentucky, and headed south towards Columbia, South Carolina. He had no premonition of what lay in store for him. It was a great ride with the cool, moist air blowing in his face as he swooped on the curves. There were almost no cars on the road. On 5 miles before he met one. In some places, the fog made it difficult to see for any distance ahead. But there were two often foggy places along the road, and Harry didn't really mind at all. It gave him a feeling of being in a world of fluffy whiteness and all above quiet. He liked with his parents and small house where he lived with his parents and four brothers and sisters. There was often so much noise that there was no chance to think. He wasn't sure just what it was that he wanted to be alone to think about. He grew angry inside. Hammer of voices made out so jerky that he couldn't make sense out of what was gnawing on him at the moment. He could put things together when he rode alone like this. Instead of the weather clearing, a slow drizzling rain began to fall. But Harry did not want to turn back. As he rounded one of the curves, a small single tree near a clump of trees on his right appeared to move. But when he approached, he saw it was a thin-looking girl wearing a cloak, walking beside the road. He stopped to ask if there was anything he could do for her. She looked so cold and forlorn, her hair clinging wetly about her cheeks, her dress long and bedraggled. At first he thought she was not going to answer, but she replied, "Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to have a ride down the road, a piece to my house." By now the drizzle had changed to a light rain, and Larry was offered her his new jacket. She put it on gratefully and climbed up behind him on the motorcycle, winding her arms about his waist. He was conscious of the cold from her hands penetrating even through his shirt. The ride was not a comfortable one, as her grip gradually grew tighter, and his back felt cold as ice. They were near Cane Valley when she spoke up and pointed to a house set back from the highway. "That's where I live," she said, and Larry turned up the road toward it. It was an old farmhouse, and the girl muttered a quick "thank you" and ran up the steps to the door, closing it behind her. Larry was so glad not to have her holding on with those cold as waist that he hurriedly took off. It was not until he was part way home, that he remembered his new jacket. By then, it was getting quite dark, and he had no desire to return to the farmhouse that night. Next morning, he headed back down to Highway 55 toward Cane Valley. And when he reached the girl's house, he went up, knocked on the door, thinking she might answer it. A woman came to the door instead. So he described the girl and said he had lent her his jacket. The woman's eyes filled with tears. I don't know how you've done it. You described just how my girl Laura looked. But she's been dead for years. Larry stared at her in disbelief. Ma'am, I just can't believe it. She was real as she could be, and I could even feel how cold and wet she was. Wait a minute. I'd like for you to go with me, said the woman. She went into the house and got her coat, and he followed her back and up to the top of the hill, where there was a small family cemetery, surrounded by a fence. As she opened the gate, she was surprised to see something was hanging over the top of the tombstone on the far side. When they reached it, he was amazed. His jacket was draped over the tombstone, and engraved on the stone was the name Laura. The date was 7 years ago. He reclaimed the jacket, but it was too damp to put on, even if he had wanted to. Although he kept the coat for several years, he never seemed able to wear it for always. After he wore it for a few minutes, it would begin to feel cold and wet, and he would have to take it off. The jacket still looked like new, but finally one night, after trying again to wear it, he became angry and threw it in the fire. A stench suffused the room. The scent of flowers massed around a freshly dug grave. Larry was so terrified he ran out of the house into the night. Even now he tells the story. His face turns white. His eyes fill with horror. And he will never ride down Highway 55 on a foggy, rainy day again. I love that story. I just love the story about Laura. So do we have any more questions? Peaceful cards and relationships. Karen McConnell. Are you still here, Karen? Because when you say give me a reading, a general reading, they ain't no telling what spirit will come up with. Cards in a relationship. Is there a specific question that you want me to focus on so we can get specific answers, or it will just, because I've got the angel deck here. I love that story. Now got me wanting to read another scary story. I'm gonna grab some water. Okay, I've got the angel cards. So if you have a specific question around a relationship, please type it in there before I start pulling. This is Karen McConnell. Relationship card. I'm not sure how to word it. So if you could put your John 4:26, I am 10:10. Between you and this person, right? I'm not sure what this card is. Oh, it's the Hierophant. Traditional viewpoints, method, spiritual. So let me see what is going on. I gotta take my glasses off, and I ain't got no light on here, so I'm really having a hard time to see. I feel like this guy is very assertive. This person, like, I don't know if you guys are in a relationship or not, but I see definitely a unity coming. A celebration is coming. On the relationship. So I don't know if this is a marriage. You didn't really tell me much. I don't have you sitting in front of me. So um so I don't know if you guys are married, but there could be a possible marriage coming up. I don't know if you guys are just boyfriend and girlfriend. You didn't give me much information to go on here, but I feel like there could be a possible marriage coming up, but it's going to have to be both of you guys coming together. I don't know if you're having any kind of relationship issues right now that you may want to seek counsel to. I don't see a breakup or splitting up. Sometimes there can be some with this page of fire, some butting minds, butting heads, because you're both creative. Um, but if you two come together, and the meeting of the minds is what I'm getting, that there possibly could be a marriage in the future for both of you, with you together. So, but it's like you may want to see a therapist or get some counseling, or um, coming together, with each other, to make sure you guys are on the same page. Yeah, that's what I'm getting, some drama here. So you're not on the same page, but if you need to, getting some drama here. So you're not on the same page, but if you need to come together and be on that same page, and you're not married, it could be one future. There could be a unity, a marriage in the future, but it's like you need to seek some type of counsel and come to the meeting of the minds if you want this relationship to work out, because it can be a happy one. It can be a partnership for you both. It can actually be something wonderful, magical, and happy for you. And but it's got to be you two coming together and making that commitment to each other. Like I said, if you want to connect, meet with a therapist or get help, if you both agree, if it's something that you guys agree together and want it to be long term, and wind up eventually getting married, coming together with this unity, that is a possibility. But it's um, because with that King of Air, it can get a little, it can be a little you know, clash. There'll be some clash in there. I'm definitely seeing clashing. So yeah. Will he seek counsel? There's something that you probably need to ask him if he will seek counsel, because there is a counsel card here with this unity, and that is the Hierophant. So you need to probably sit down with him and ask him. Oh, he does that, then he probably needs to seek some for himself. Has he thought about doing anything about that? About his thank you. Thank you for that. Has he thought about going to seek any kind of help for that? Because it's something that needs to be dealt with beforehand. Oh, then if he's against it, then yeah, it's going to be. it's going to come down to both of you agreeing, sitting down with each other and having a serious conversation about it. And sometimes you can't make people, do and change and be what you want them to. They have to walk their own path. We're each here walking our own path. So I know how difficult and that can be someone. So I would definitely conversation about seeking that counsel. If he wants to continue with you, I mean, but that's going to be your choice. I'm not telling you what to do or anything, but definitely look into that, because it's a possibility for marriage down the road, but you have to be on the same page with him. Yeah, you have to accept who they are. We're each here walking our own path, and everyone has something to learn. And maybe he's going through. So let's see what else we've got here. Yes, I'm still doing readings. If you have a specific question here on Halloween night, happy Samhain, Halloween, whatever you're celebrating. We've been on here telling ghost stories. If you have any ghost stories to tell or anything, just type it in the box or share it with us, or some kind of I'll be happy to share it with everyone. So Donna Marie, and if you see me looking that way, I'm looking at my, oh, there goes a deer by the window. How cool is that? I wish I could flip the camera around so you guys could see that. I love putting stuff out for the deers to eat. It's a doe, but it's right there, just walking. Oh, there's another one. Oh, deers. Oh, there's another deer. Where I used to, oh, there's a little baby one too. Where I used to live, I was on the back side of the mountains, because I live in the Appalachian, here in the Great Smoky Mountains of North Carolina. And if you can't already tell by my accent, but I used to, oh, there's another big one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right here, I'll throw an apple out like that. But where I used to live, I used to buy the big bag. Deers. I love animals. So the next person is any messages from spirit. Donna Marie, do you have a specific question, or you just want a card drawn? So I can draw you one from the. That's one thing if you ever sit down with a reader, make sure that you're asking specific questions. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love these mountains. I am in love with the mountains. Can you be in love with the mountains? Because I really am, and I'm telling it to the world. But I'm just gonna pull a card for Donna Marie. Anytime you sit down with a reader, always have a specific question in mind. We could ask the pendulum, Karen. I do have my pendulum here and my board. After I pull a card for Donna, she doesn't have a specific question, because when you say I want a general reading or just a message from spirit, guess what? You just get anything spirit wants to say, he will say it. They will say it. Yep. Yeah. I keep saying he because Archangel Michael is usually, with me, and assisting me in readings. I also have a guide, Sabine, who is a druid, and I have one from an elder from Lemurian, ancient Lemuria. So this is for Donna Marie. We're just gonna pull your card. Oh, you got rainbow blessings are showering your life. I love these cards. Like everybody's just having all this abundance. So I feel like it's before the end of the year, maybe the beginning of next year. It's just this happiness, joyous, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional abundance. It's just energy is just flowing around you. Um, and it's just like happy occasions. It's like, don't worry about the money. You don't have to worry about the money. You don't have to worry about this and that. It's like you're getting this time to relax. This time to relax and just be joyous and just be grateful. Be sure to give thanks and gratitude each day as we're coming up into this period of Thanksgiving, of gathering with family and friends and just being thankful and not having to worry about anything in particular. It's just like the energy is just flowing and the abundance is flowing with the, just not real. It's everything, the emotion, how you feel, the physical, your physical health, and just everything is just smooth flowing for you. And I love that. It's just rainbow blessings. It's like showering blessings into your life. This is hi from Belfast, Northern Ireland, UK. I love that. Did that make any sense to you, Donna? Now, if you have something specific, then that's what you need to write down. So you want to do the pendulum with the question about how to word that pendulum. I mean, how to word that question for you, Karen. How would you write it down? How you want me to word it with the pendulum and ask the pendulum. I won't even say anything. I'll just turn the camera down to yourself. And here's my board. Oh, you just want the spirit guide me? Okay. His name was John, right? I can't find it in the messages. I'm going to turn this down so you can see it. And I'm going to ask so you can see it yourself. And you can see this is yes. And this will be no. This will be maybe. And this is don't know. So depending on how it swings, you'll have your answer. So this spirit, thank you. This question is from Karen about John. Will he seek a counsel or a therapist about his addiction? Will John seek counsel or a therapist about his addiction? Or a therapist about his addiction? Will John seek a counsel or therapist about his addiction? You can see it saying maybe. Maybe. Thank you, Spirit, for that. Thank you. So you seen that it was maybe. I'm saying maybe. I know there's a big lag. Yeah. But again, I think it's going to be entirely up to him and how far it will go before he does. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom on stuff like that. So, but I'm sending you both guys blessings and wishing you all the best, because I just want to see everyone happy and blessed and joyous, and everyone deserves that happiness, but we're still here to walk these paths. No, thank you. Yes, thank you, Spirit, for asking that. So, is there anyone else that would like a reading? So we have been on here for 36:30, almost 2 hours. Unless you guys want to hear another ghost story, which I don't even know if I can see here. It's getting so dark. I know it don't look like it because I got these lights behind me. Let me check Facebook. If, if there are no more questions, then I may pull one card for the collective. I'll give you guys a few minutes to see. If there's another question you would like me to answer, because I know there is a lag in the video. So I think I'm going to get the Sacred Rebel deck again and ask for a message for the collective as we move into November, a time of harvest and blessings. Yes, you want to hear another story? What are you writing yes to, Karen? Another story? I love ghost stories. Does anybody out there have any ghost stories? So what does the collective need to hear? As we go forward, Spirit. A story? Alright, I'll find another one. I'm running out of water though. Oh wow, this is powerful. So she feels and she knows. So this is reminding me of getting in touch with our feelings, our intuition as the changes are happening here on Earth, on Mother Gaia, as we are being, if you want to call, upgraded, getting these downloads, activations are happening, listening to spirit, listening to our intuition, listening to the guidance that that spirit has for us. Being in tune with your feelings, being in tune with your body as we are going, in that direction as we move into this newer or 5D, whatever. Um, as our consciousness raises awareness, being mindful of our thoughts and what we speak. Our words can be spells. So always be mindful of what you speak. So this is a very powerful card. She knows and she feels. It's like your intuition is kicking up. Um, um, you're getting information. You're getting downloads of information, ideals popping off in your mind, in your head. That's all from spirit. It's just like deja vu sometimes when you feel like you're going through that deja vu moment. So be mindful, pay attention to what you're getting in. That is your intuition that is guiding you. Um, just being grateful and thankful, and listening more to spirit, doing your meditations, doing your spiritual practice, whatever that is. It could be prayer. every morning, every night. It could be a mantra that you say every morning, every night, to yourself, to spirit, to the universe, God, whatever it is that you speak to. Doing that and being becoming one and listening to the information that you're receiving, because we're all becoming in tune to spirit, more in tune to the goddess and gods which we are within, embracing who we are and the power that each of us hold. We are so blessed here. Archangel Michael said, guys, just whole team that surrounds us, and they want us to be happy. They want us to be abundant. When we laugh and we're joyous, you really want to connect, and you really want to, that are out there to help and guide and assist and protect. And he said, you've got to go within. You've got to listen. And Karen is saying that you can always ask Archangel Raphael to come in. And you can always, this is going to be some silent. I've got some language videos that are coming up, but I'm going to do some silent healing for him. And moving out some of that negative energy that's around him. But also be calling on Archangel Raphael. Call on Archangel Michael to put protection around both of you. And call on his team to assist him. Even though he's got to make the choice, they can kind of nudge him. Oh, yes. Powerful. Whew. Thank you, Spirit. So yeah, so make sure that you're calling on your team to help and guide you. They're always there to help you. Thank you for those donations, Karen. Thank you. And that was my Archangel Michael. And I can feel his energy and his presence here now. Wow. So is there anything else? Oh, you said you wanted to hear another story. So we're here on Halloween night. I may have to go grab some water. Well, I've got a bottle of water over there. Did you hear the last story of Laura? Because it's getting really dark in here, and I don't really want to cut on no. Yes, you feel him. Invoke his presence. Ask him to come in, and he's there with you. Ask him for protection. Ask him to bring in Archangel Raphael for that healing. And Archangel Michael can cut away addictions and stuff like that. He can release that negativity energy and stuff that usually surrounds, when people are addicted and stuff like that. So our first story was Laura, and I think I will read one more before I go, unless anybody has any more questions. And these are all about the Appalachian ghost stories. So I'm going to shut this window right here so nobody can't ride by and see me, because it's getting dark. So I'm going to drink the rest of my water. This one is called The Ghost Fiddlers. You can see the Ghost Fiddlers cabin. And this is in, I think it's Virginia. I think this story comes out from Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I told a story before, so if you're just now coming in, go back and look at the first story, Laura. It's one of my favorites about the girl that everyone seems to pick up on a rainy, stormy night, foggy night. So this one is the Ghost Fiddlers. Again, this is the Ghost Fiddlers cabin. I think this is in Virginia that this story comes out of. And it says, there was an old house in West Virginia. So this is in West Virginia. There was an old house in West Virginia that only comes alive at night. That is, if you can say that a house inhabited by spirits come alive. The old log cabin leaned forward and seemed to stare menacingly. Its supports sagged. The door hung from one hinge. The young couple stood for a moment and stared back. Then the man walked over to look at the steps. Pretty good shape. This owns a house with good timber, and we can make it right. Oh, Peter, this house scares me just to look at it. Scares you? There's something wrong about it. There'll never be anything but sadness in it. Thinking straight. Yet your family lets the tunes from that old fiddle and make them feel crazy. Oh, now remember, I don't never want none of that fiddling in our home. Sarah's eyes looked hurt, but she gave a little nod. She was a pretty girl, and she was from a family of fiddle players. The girls could play about as well as the men. But Peter Barton thought the fiddle was the instrument of the devil, for that's the way he was raised. Music led a body away from things that ought to be doing, like serving the Lord, and could make him forget he was soon to be standing before the judgment seat. Peter had wanted to preach, but he had worked so hard there was no time to practice at it. But my, what a powerful prayer he could make. Lots of folk went to preaching just to hear Peter Barton pray. He began to repair the house, and sometimes Sarah would come out bringing some of the yellow rose bushes from her home place to plant and keep it from looking so desolate. It was so somber. It was a somber wedding with no music, for Sarah's dad and brothers knew better than to fetch any fiddles along. A year later, a boy was born. Peter wanted to call him after one of the thundering prophets of the Old Testament, but Sarah said her grandpappy's name, James, was the same as one of the apostles, and her husband agreed. They left themselves for Peter, but never wanted to take her over to see the family. For that is the instrument of the devil. The fiddle could often be heard, its strings floating around the cabin at night. Secretly, Peter feared he might come to like one of the gay tunes or play lovers back, and then he was convinced he would lose his faith. Folks passing the Bartons' house at supper time could hear Peter's strong, resonant voice reciting the blessing as if he were giving a benediction to the multitude. He took Sarah and the boy to church and never missed a meeting. People said the prayers he prayed could make chills run down the man's spine. Somehow he never had any close friends, for he didn't seem to trust anybody. Some said it was because he had to scrabble so hard for what he got. They also said he was a strong-tempered man and that both Sarah and the boy were afraid of him. Sarah's mom took sick one day. Well, this is right up on their two white mules. Right off, James was a fiddle banging, hanging on the wall, and he asked his granddaddy, what was it for? It was the first time he'd ever seen one. His granddaddy took it down and played a gay, lifting melody. James wanted to try it, but his father scowled, and the boy was afraid to touch it. When they left, Peter told James that he would never play such an instrument of the devil, and if he ever took it up, he'd have to leave home. Sometimes Peter would make a raft of logs down the river. There was much timber in the area, and he would have to tie the loose logs into the raft and ride it downstream, where he could sell them and buy land. It took about 4 days because someone would have to walk back. One day while he was gone, James's grandfather became sick again, and he and his mother went over to the house. He asked his granddad to play for him, and when he had finished, James wanted to try. Sarah's father suggested she take the fiddle home with her and teach the boy while his father was away. Sarah looked up at the fiddle with longing, and all the beautiful, haunting melodies that she had learned as a girl came to mind. She had missed them. She couldn't resist, and from then on, she and James would play on his father's way. Well, this is a long story. Pick the short one. All right, hang on. One morning, Peter told them goodbye and set out for the river to run and raft the logs downstream to sell timber. The water's pretty high, Sarah, and it may take me longer to get back, for some of the small streams are going to get higher if it rains some more. I may have trouble getting across them by foot, but I'm getting back in about 4 days. Sarah did her chores. James chopped some wood, planted taters in the garden, and it was a late afternoon when he finished. The night after supper, his mother saw him, looked up towards the loft where they had the fiddle hidden. Her eyes met his, and she nodded her head. Go ahead, Jamie. He played while his mother sat listening the old rocking chair her pa had given her. Every now and then she would take the fiddle herself and play a tune. The two of them had such a good time they paid no mind that to the late hour. Meanwhile, Peter had set down the river, but the water was high, and about 2 miles from home he reached a spot where the river narrowed and curved. Here the current was a swift, and it pulled the raft right over big rocks he had always managed to see and avoid when the water was lower. The raft went all to pieces, and only by clinging to one of the logs was he able to keep from drowning. He stopped at the house to dry himself. By the time he had walked all the way home, it was getting towards midnight. He was surprised to light on a light of a lamp burning in the little cabin. But as he drew closer, he knew why. The wind brought the sound of a gay, foot-tapping melody called Sweet sunny sow. Peter's face grew grim and hard. The appealing lilt of the tune touched his heart, only moved him to anger. A fiddle was used to dance in other frolics. It was clearly the instrument of the devil, in his eyes of the mountain preachers. And Peter flung the door open in a blank rage. He snatched the fiddle out of Jamie's hand and take a knife to deliberately cut every string. Then he hung it near the mantel and turned to Jamie, thundering, "There hangs the instrument of the devil," as a reminder to all of them who do not obey. "I told you, Jamie, you would have to leave this house if you ever brought a fiddle into it. Now you go to your grandpappy's and stay there." Jamie had no light, but he was afraid of his father, and he left right then. Sarah thought he would go to her pa's place and stay there till Peter cooled down, and then he would come back. That was not to be. The following morning Peter rose early to milk the cow. She was in the far pasture, and he went to fetch her. A dark, crumbled thing at the foot of the cliff, at one side of the field. It was me. He had lollered in the dark from the cliff, head first, and struck the stump. The boy's neck was broken. Peter carried his son's body back to the house. Oh, this is sad. It is said that Peter was never the same. He no longer took his logs down to the river. He scarcely talked to anyone now, and in church he never prayed out loud again. 4 years later, he was killed by one of the mules, kicked him, splitting his head open. Some folks said he had told Sarah that he would only live 4 more years, one for each string he had cut on the fiddle. He was buried beside his son in the graveyard. Sarah lived on in the house, getting quieter, queerer and queerer. And late at night, when folks walked the path near the cabin, they would hear strains of the fiddle playing. One morning, someone found her sitting in a rocking chair with a fiddle across her lap and a smile upon her face. Stranger still, even after the old lady died, the sounds kept on, and if anything, there were more and more reports of music rippling through the night air coming from the old cabin. Sometimes gay, but more often sad and plaintive. Even today, there are still few people who care to laugh near the old cabin after dark, nor does anyone want to stay over night or live there again. It's a dark, sagging, skeleton place. Yet they say that near midnight, the eerie, haunting music of Jamie's fiddle may still be heard coming from the grave. There's the cabin. That was longer than the first story. Yeah, it's a sad story. The first one was much, much better. But I remember these stories that my grandma used to tell us as we were kids, and we used to sit around. There was about 5 of us, and we used to sit around, and Grandma would tell us these ghost stories at night, you know, and she'd tell us about a preacher man. How did it go? I wish I would have remembered this beforehand and I could have wrote it all down. Um, I can't remember. She used to tell us the one about it's about a preacher man that only had one eye, And then she would tell us about little orphan Annie came to her house to stay, and she could make it rhyme and all that stuff. So I'm sure you guys grew up with your grandmas telling you ghost stories and stuff like that. So is there anything else you guys want to discuss before I head on out for tonight? I will have the November Zodiac tarot reading predictions up tomorrow. Hopefully I'm gonna do them. So guys, I'm gonna let, yeah, it's like when elderly or grandparents die or something like that, or our parents, it's just history goes along with it unless you write all those stories down and you make or record them. So it was some stories that she told us. I'm sure there was plenty more that I can't remember it, but that house that she had was haunted. Her husband haunted that place. But you could, I remember one night when we were little, when we were she was gone somewhere and we were there, and it was just us kids because they could do that back then. I remember something falling on the floor and landing in the middle of the room, and there wasn't nobody in that room. So that was pretty scary for us. And I've heard my aunt, because they still lived in it there for a while, could still see him standing in the doorway. My grandfather, my grandmother's husband. So he still frequented that place. I never did get to meet him because he passed before I was born. I have to tell you this story. So if you guys ever been here in North Carolina and never heard of a town called Bryson City, North Carolina, well, me and a friend went up way up on this mountain where this radio tower was. I mean, you had to have four-wheel drive to get up on this mountain. So this has been about 10 years ago. So we rode up there. He had to have four-wheel drive. Was in a Jeep. I think no, it was in a truck or something. I can't remember. But oh, you lived in a haunted house? Tell us. Start typing it out, Karen, so I can read it. But we went way up on this mountain where this radio tower was. I mean, you couldn't really get up there unless you had four-wheel drive. So we were up there, and it was pitch dark, and we're standing out there talking because I'm Native American. This is what we do. No, but he says, my friend says, get in the vehicle. I see some green eyes, and this is back when I had a drink or two. I no longer do any of that, but this has been a long time ago. I'm like, what? Green eyes? I'm like, what the hell? Green eyes? And he was strictly sober because he was driving me. He was the designated in there. Now I see some green eyes. Now I'm thinking he's crazy. I don't know what. So we pushes me in, we get in, I look ahead out the windshield, and there's these two green eyes, piercing green eyes, coming, jumping like it was an animal running and running towards the vehicle. As soon as he switched on those lights, just right when it was about to jump on the hood of the vehicle, it disappeared. I was thinking, how cool is that? I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's the only ghost story I got, which I don't think it was a ghost story. I think it was, I don't know what it was, but I'm gonna find out what it was one day. And I don't know if it was my totem animal or a power animal or something, an animal that frequent that place up there. But all you could see was those green eyes running, running, running. As soon as it was about to land on the vehicle, the lights come on. We turned the lights on, and boom, it disappeared. So that was awesome. All right. Anything else, guys? Do you want to talk some more? Tell me about. You lived in a haunted house. That was another cabin that a person I used to date. I didn't realize it was haunted at the time because I used to make these arts and crafts. You know, I used to make these little war bonnets that hang around the mirror that had the feathers coming out of those. So I was making a bunch of those that day, and I kept hearing it was a 2-story old cabin. It was like 100 years old. It was down at White Lake in North Carolina, and it was a 2-story. I kept hearing noises. I was like, somebody up there? So I had to go up there and look and peek in the doors, and one of the rooms had some red carpet. One's called that the red room. Nothing up there. Just continuously hearing anything. I think that place was haunted. 6 months later, moved into a house and with a 2-year-old daughter and a husband at the time. Okay. Are you going to tell us any more? I'm looking that way. I need to be looking at my phone. Are you still writing, Karen? Later moved furniture into the home. Okay. While you're saying that, I'm going to grab a bottle of water over here. That way I won't have to go to the thing to get it. Which I am going to have to use the restroom here in a little bit. Later moved the furniture into the home. So you moved in, had reoccurring dreams about a home. So our 2-year-old daughter, her and her 2-year-old daughter moved in a home with her husband at the time. Her 2-year-old daughter began to cry upon entering the house, and she began to scream when entering the bedroom. Oh my God, children are so sensitive. So what happened? I wish I could bring you on camera. Did you guys move out? Did something happen? I'm surprised my internet has held up this long. Must be the universe having my back. So I'm waiting on the next part. In the spare room, daycare room, we would randomly hear a child cry in the room. It was not my daughter crying. Crying was coming from the wall. Wow, was this an old home? Now you got me so curious. I'm wondering, what did y'all do? Did y'all move out eventually? Did you ever see anything? Here's what I do when I move agent. I ask Archangel Michael to come in, invite him in for protection in my car, my vehicle, my Tristan, my Jack Russell. Wind up by itself. Wow, yeah. I tell you what, there is off by itself, and I was just like, looked at the person sitting next to me. It was a little doggy toy, and I was like, someone's here. And I've had my smoke alarm, not this one, that's up. I don't know if you can see it. The other one in the bedroom went off, not go off, but does that chirping noise one time. And I'm like, why is that happening? Who is that? Let's see what else you've written. The baby swings. We'd hear swing wind up by itself. The lights turned on. Would turn blood red. What? Objects would fly across the room, off the walls, and counters. What did y'all bring in? Did y'all bring in anybody? Did you sage? Did y'all buy this home? Where is it located? Wow. It sounded like they was very happy. Spirit was very happy for you guys to move in. Wow. That is something that to have all that be happening. That is amazing. Woke up the blankets being pulled off you at night. Did you decide you wanted to get up and leave? Yeah, and the doors were slammed. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's pretty hard. It can be horrifying for some people. Unless you ask it to leave or can communicate with it and find out exactly what it wants and why it's doing it, or do some research on the house and see, what happened in there, if it's an old house or anything like that. So that's pretty amazing. All right, guys, I have really got to go. End up getting divorced over that? I don't know. Wow, that is something. Yeah, I would have probably had to move from there, or something would have had to happen. But it's been wonderful, guys. Oh, demeanor change, abusive. Oh, okay. Yeah, could be cause. Could have been something related. But anyways, it's been wonderful, guys. I hope to do this real soon. Come on live, maybe do some more readings for you guys, not just on Samhain or Halloween. Just pop on here to do it. You can find me at spiritualmagicjourney.com if you would like to get your own. But I will see you guys real soon. Oh, so it was steps. Yeah, latest. Yeah. Yeah, I had to do my research on that. But I love you guys. I've got some light language, Lemurian light language videos coming out tomorrow for healing and blessing. But I'm going to go now because I really have to grab some more water. Okay? Oh, on the Indian burial ground. On sacred lands. Yep. Yeah, I've heard so many stories like that. But I love you guys. I'm going. I'll see you next time. It's been fun. I enjoyed this. And I'm not going to wait till just a holiday to come back on. So I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye now.